to Unleash the Infection Monkey, a modern alternative to pen tests by Ofri Ziv. You are here in Mendeley ENF. Before we begin, a few brief notes. First, the welcome reception will continue after this talk until 7 p.m. tonight in the business hall. The Black Hat Arsenal continues to be on the Palm Foyer on level 3. And join us for the Pony Awards in Mandalay Bay B, C, and D, which is just down the hall at 6:30 p.m. tonight. Please put your phone on vibrate. It makes it easier for the rest of us to ignore its ringing while you wait for your voicemail to pick it up. Without further ado, our speaker. Thank you.
Good. Okay, hello everybody. My name is Ofri. I'm very excited to be here today and to share with you a cool project we've been working on lately. So a bit about myself. I'm leading the research group at Guardicore. Guardicore is a data center security company focused on delivering effective ways to stop advanced threats inside a data center. Our group is responsible for security research and development of data analysis algorithms. So today I would like to introduce you to our in-house tool we named Infection Monkey. So our story begins 5 years ago in 2011 when Netflix released Chaos Monkey, a tool which was designed to randomly disable the company's production servers so they could make sure they can survive network failures without causing any impact to their customers. We felt that the same principles that guided the Netflix guys in the field of network fault tolerance could be used in the network security world. So there are many network architectures out there, and to secure these networks, we have a variety of products to choose from. In this talk, we will discuss how to test the resiliency of a network on an ongoing basis. So what is the best way to test a network security deployment? Is it vulnerability scanning? Perhaps penetration testing? Here is a data center network we visualized using the Guardicore's product. Each node in this graph represents a machine, and each link is a possible route between two machines. So when we test the network using a vulnerability scanner, we place a scanner in one or more places in the network. If we place enough scanners properly, we could probably test most parts of the network for remote vulnerabilities on an ongoing basis. But we want to be able to simulate an attacker's moves in the network. Another popular method is penetration testing. The pen tester can start from the internet or some other place in the network and simulate an APT. On one hand, we got ourselves a professional in-depth testing, which in this case unveiled a weak path in our network. But what if there are more such routes? Obviously, the tester cannot cover all possible paths. What happens in few days after the tester leaves and our highly dynamic data center network will change? After all, pen testers, they don't visit our network on a daily basis. So what if we could combine the two methods? Perhaps we will get better results. What if we could test for vulnerabilities in every accessible machine and simulate an attacker's behavior in the network, and all continuously? So the Monkey has several key benefits. First, it allows us to test the resiliency of our network by simulating an attacker propagating from any machine in the data center. This methodology can be replicated across networks, VLANs, subnets, etc., And what we get from it is a test covering an entire data center. The Monkey is an easily activated open source tool which doesn't require special expertise or budget allocation. Plus, it runs automatically. So the Monkey's approach is very simple and based on picking a random machine in the network, finding all possible propagation routes, and repeat it over and over until we cover everything. The Monkey consists of 3 components. First, we have the Infection Monkey, a self-propagating lightweight tool. Next, we have the Monkey Island, a CNC server, which allows us to control the monkey and watch its progress across the network, visually on a graph or with detailed information sent to the island. Presented by the island, containing all the operations made by the monkey. And last but not least, we have the Monkey business. Don't be misled by the name. It reliably integrates with the network orchestration and generates and spawns monkeys in different networks, so the monkey could cover all the data center. So let's review the monkey's high-level operation. So we start by running a monkey someplace in the network. Here we executed it on a server we named patient 0. It scans the network, checks for open ports, and fingerprints machines using multiple network protocols. For every machine it finds, a detailed report is being sent to the island, our CNC server, as we see in here. After detecting accessible machines, the monkey will attempt to attack every single machine using a variety of methods. The Infection Monkey provides detailed information about the vulnerability, the specific vulnerability it abused. In the example we see here, we can see that the MySQL server was breached by the monkey, which was executed on the patient 0 using the SSH exploit. The SSH exploit in this case is password guessing over SSH. So when self-propagating, you sometimes reach machines which have no access to the island. The monkey overcomes this problem by tunneling its CNC channel through the monkey chain. Here, the operations IT station has no direct access to the island, so it tunnels out through the previous exploited machine. In this case, we have the MySQL server. The graph tells us, the blue arrow in the graph tells us exactly that. The monkey business generates islands in different networks and randomly infect them. This allows us to test every existing and newly created networks across the entire data center. So last month, one of our customers was generous enough to allow us running the monkey in its environment. And the environment contained hundreds of machines. And we were able to find several weaknesses in it. Let me show you one such monkey execution. So at first, the monkey breached 3 machines. 3 red arrows, 3 machines were breached. Later, a crack was found, and few more machines were breached. Eventually, this. So what you see here is password recycling across the network. 111 machines out of 176 machines were breached, and over 30 tunnels were used to allow the monkey access machines with no routing to or from the island. So let me try and show you how we do it. Okay, so here is how the island UI looks like. So on the left, we can see a map zone. In here, you will soon, hopefully, you will soon see how the monkey propagates in my demo environment. Let's try to run it. Here you have the test management. So very easily, by clicking here, what will happen is that a monkey will run on the island server and tries to propagate from it to the rest of the network. So first, it asks me to choose the island IP to which I want it to report. And the monkey fun begins. Okay, so what we see is that, first of all, it scans, okay, and it was able to find another machine pretty fast. Next, it was able to breach the web server, and the monkey which was executed on the web server breached the proxy server. So let me show you a bit what we can see here in addition to the map. So here you can see general information like how many monkeys are there in the test, number of the monkeys which are alive, machines which weren't exploited, tunnels being used. If you want, here is a legend of what we see in the map. So when we pick a monkey, when we click on it, you can see here all the details that we have on the machine, like its name, its OS or IP address, and the way we exploited it. Here you can change the monkey configuration. Okay, I won't get into it, but it's a simple JSON format which allows you to control what the monkey will, how the monkey will try to propagate across the network. Also, you have the ability to forbid the monkey from running on this machine. So if I'll click here, the monkey will die, and no other monkeys will be able to run on this machine from now on. Also, I can click on kill all monkeys, and if I'll do that, all the monkeys that were executed so far will stop work. Okay, here you can see the telemetry feed. We have all the operations that were made by this monkey. So we can see password, exploitation attempts, scan attempts. If we click on an arrow here, we will be able to see the operations that happen between those two machines. So as you can see, the map keeps getting updated. Each new monkey that is executed is autonomous. So it starts to run by itself and scan all the network and exploit more and more machines. So we let him be, and maybe afterwards we'll come back and see where he got to. Okay, so what's in it for you? The monkey operates like a hacker on the loose, and you get to predict in advance the attack scenarios that you need to be prepared for. Its automatic nature allows you to continuously validate your network resiliency for emerging threats. There is some interesting work in this area. We have the good old Metasploit. Well, our approach is a bit different. We look for safety and self-propagation. There is also Netflix Simian Army. The Chaos Monkey that I mentioned before is a loyal soldier in this army, which focus on other fields of network testing, continuous network testing. And as I mentioned before, it was actually our inspiration for this entire project. Also, there is SafeBreach, the finalist of the Black Hat Innovative Awards, which also focus on the continuous security validation. I encourage you to download the Monkey and use it to test your network. Also, you are more than welcome to contribute code and help us build a community around the Monkey. Share your ideas with us. And that's it. Thank you for coming. And if you have any questions, now is the time.
Yes, I have two questions. With regard to your case study, what was the timeline from patient 0 to the 111 servers? And how much network resources did that consume?
So the timeline was several hours, and the reason it took so much time is the basically the scanning, which takes longer than as the number of subnets you have in your network, and also it's a factor of the number of VLANs in the network. As for the resources, the Monkey is pretty lightweight, so I don't remember the exact numbers, but it consumes very minor resources.
In terms of the safety of it, do you have on your website exactly what it does and why it's safe?
So the Monkey is open source, so everyone can see exactly its capabilities. But we are trying to commit only safe methods to it, so it won't, so people won't be afraid to execute it even in their production environments. So you are welcome to see its arsenal in the GitHub repository.
Are there any plans to have the Monkey automatically fix the vulnerabilities that it finds?
No, we didn't think that far, but we do have some thoughts about integrating the Monkey with other security devices in the network. So one will be able to find its blind spots in the network, which will be the routes that the Monkey took, but no indication of its movement was received in the SIEM server or other SOC.
Thank you for the talk. I have a question. So does the Monkey have any possible to bring the node down? I mean, does that the Monkey affect the service itself?
So as I mentioned earlier, the Monkey is using only safe exploits, and it has no malicious payload, only the Monkey itself. So this should, such a situation shouldn't happen. Okay,
and I will just want to add another related work you want to look at, which is SOCC 15th paper, which called Penetration Testing as a Service. It's the similar idea of like using the Monkey jump around, which is called pivot mode in that paper. And yeah, you also, I think you would like to look at it. It is quite related work. Thanks.
Mm-hmm. Thanks.
Two questions. One, do you have a way to clean up afterward, as in like go kill all the monkeys and make sure that it doesn't continue to propagate? And then two, do you have any protection in place so that someone doesn't take over that swarm and attack you?
Yeah. So we have the ability to kill all the monkeys. And when a monkey dies, we expect it to clean all the files that it created or other effects on the machine that it was executed on. What was your second question?
Do you have any protection or safeguard in place so that someone else, a third party, doesn't take over the swarm?
Okay. So no special mechanisms were deployed in the monkey at the moment, but sounds like a good idea.
There are a couple other products, by the way, that you didn't catch. vThreat is another one, as is Attack IQ. They both do the same thing as Safe Breach, and they're actually closer to what you're describing here. I'm curious if you've deployed this at larger than multiple hundreds of nodes, and what you see as the aggregate network traffic when these are all scanning simultaneously, or all performing brute forcing against SSH passwords simultaneously.
So we executed the monkey in several environments. Hundreds of machines was I think the largest environment that we tested it. And well, the monkey, since it runs in a single, its exploit and scanning mechanisms run in a single thread, they don't cause that much noise in the network. So we're pretty safe there.
But each of the nodes is going to be running simultaneously. So if you have 5 on the network and they all happen to scan the same systems and discover SSH simultaneously, they're going to be using the same username and password lists, right?
Well, it might happen, but if the monkey was able to propagate to all your machines, then the situation of this data center is probably pretty bad in the first place.
Two questions. Since the monkey only uses safe exploits, that would imply that semi-destructive or intentionally destructive exploits would still be possible in the system. Do you have any thoughts on how to counteract that? The second question was, does the monkey business have network traversal logic built in to find islands of vulnerability within seas of invulnerable nodes, or is it purely a random walk topology?
Okay, so regarding the malicious exploits, then we didn't add any mechanism which verify whether the exploit that we are using is malicious or not. This is the responsibility of whoever adds the exploit to the monkey. At the moment, we control all the code that goes into the monkey, so we guarantee that no such exploits will be committed to the repository. As for the monkey business, so yeah, it just integrates with the network orchestration and deploys islands. So the reason that we deploy islands in the different networks is because we don't want to create a single spot which will connect all the networks together. So it will be like a weak spot in your network. But the business will collect all the information from these islands to present one single map.
So I think I stated the first question badly. There are exploits which, by their very nature, are destructive. They're not necessarily malicious payload, but in order to break in the process of breaking in, they break things.
Yeah, I understand what you asked.
You haven't used any of those.
We don't use statistical exploits with stability with probability to cause a downtime to the service that they try to exploit or stuff like this.
So you have no way of telling whether the nodes are vulnerable to those types of exploits.
We don't have a way to tell it, but we are very careful adding the exploits to the monkey.
Thank you.
Yeah, hi. My question revolves around, when the monkey goes out and it's looking for exploits to execute or vulnerabilities on another system, what type of, what engine are you guys using, or, what are you guys determining to use? Are you guys using signature-based stuff, or what? I mean, so like in comparison to like the commercial scanners like Nessus, Nexpose, things like that. I mean, also, have you guys done any like benchmark testing to actually see, how your product stacks up compared to the others? So
the idea behind the monkey is not to implement another vulnerability scanner, which will tell you that you need to upgrade your Apache version because there is a new patch to it. The idea was to create something which will give you the ability to do ongoing tests occasionally, easily, and the test should have depth. So while the scanner only scans the machines that he has access to, the idea behind the monkey is that it exploits the machine, and then it also uses the data that it can collect from the machine exploited and try to propagate to the next machine.
Okay, I mean, I guess I'm trying to wonder where the list of exploits that you're using is coming from. How do you guys generate that?
So
how's it updated?
The monkey's arsenal, as I said before, we add exploits to it.
Okay.
And this is basically it.
Okay. Thanks.
Two questions. Is the free version the full version, or is there a professional licensed?
So the free version is the full version. There are some code snippets that we didn't yet release, but we intend to release everything.
And secondly, is there a formal pre-formatted report that you can generate from this?
What do you mean?
Like, so of all the infections that it finds, can it export that into a formatted report?
I see. No, we don't have it right now.
Feature.
I was just wondering if the monkeys were able to update themselves.
So, okay, that's a good question. At the moment, the monkey cannot upgrade itself.
Hey, just wondering, if you said there's a kill all monkeys, which sounds very cool, but if you lose connectivity to a host, if someone shuts it down and takes a laptop home or something like that, what happens then when you've killed all the monkeys?
So if the monkey cannot connect to the island, it will just kill it. It will just die and clean after itself. So
how long does that take?
Well, it depends on the number of operations that he needs to do, because if the monkey is executed on a machine with several network cards and large subnets, so it might take him a while until scans is over. So
okay.
It might take.
The other thing I was going to say is, so a bunch of our clients have things like, VPNs into their data centers with 2FA and, disabling split tunneling, all that sort of stuff. If you've got, say, a monkey on a host on, say, a workstation, and they VPN into, say, their data center, so you lose all other connectivity to still propagate, even though it can't communicate back to the monkey island?
So the monkey won't propagate if it won't be able to connect the island. So
right. So if it loses connectivity, it just sits.
It will stop.
Okay.
Can you, for a larger network, whitelist a set of subnets so it only attempts to infect that subnet, or conversely blacklist where it won't?
So the configuration allows you to pretty much control what the monkey does. So you can limit to specific subnets. You can also tell him to ignore several machines that perhaps you don't want the monkey to try to run on them. So.
Yeah, it was very similar question to that, but also for the exploits, are you able to limit also, apart from the subnets, the exploits that it runs, or?
Can you repeat it?
Yeah, similar to his question. I mean, if you are able to limit the scope of the monkey from a subnet's perspective and from an exploit perspective, not to run particular exploits.
Yeah, you can. Okay, so before we leave, we just want to show you one last thing.
Question?
No, I'm afraid we don't have time, so maybe offline. So I would like to stress that what the monkey chooses to do with the technology is not necessarily an indictment of the technology itself. Okay.
Is Kiko. Kiko was rescued after a Nicaraguan landmine severed both his arms. My team, using technology developed at Somerville, was able to devise an array of sensors that can non-invasively detect signals, from the neurons in the motor cortex of the brain. So without surgery, we have given Kiko the gift of a usable prosthetic appendage.
What's he doing?
Well, what Kiko chooses to do with the technology is not important. What's important here is that, in spite of what it may seem like on the surface, building a device that is capable of this is a remarkable scientific achievement. And what you're looking at is really a testament to my team and to my leadership. And I feel that.
Really?
I'm going to have to insist that Spaghetti be removed if I continue here.
Davis, there are a lot of forces at work here. There's a lot at play that you're not privy to. Please do not question how I choose to run my company.
Of course. I just have to think that both of our interests would be better served if Spaghetti was not.
What is he doing now? Oh, God.
Again, I have to stress that what the monkey chooses to do with the technology is not necessarily an indictment of the technology itself. Gavin, please.
Thanks, everyone.
This is Kiko.